Hey everybody, welcome to Age of Bison. I am here today to bring something a little bit different. We're going to try to do two games in the space of one video. And the reason we're doing that is because I'm told they're very interesting games. They're kind of short and they're kind of related. So I don't want to give away too much to the viewers. All I'm going to give away is that I am joined again once more by my persistently patient co-host, Stefan. Stefan, how's it going?
What's up? Happy to be here.
Yeah, so this game was submitted by Beime. The caption, all I know is that I don't just Baja. um, was the caption. So I assume we're going to see something a little bit different from Mexico, or at least his Mexico. Perhaps he'll go Central America, perhaps he'll not. And then he's facing Ethiopia, a civ that we were actually just talking about. I feel like is very underutilized at the moment. It's the least placed civ in the game. It's remained in the bottom four unless it was like explicitly being abused for an overpowered combo. So I kind of look forward to seeing both these civs, what they do, how they interact, and how the players, basically jockey position, create a build, and execute it. So without further ado, I'm going to start the timer, and I would love to hear some of your thoughts, Stefan, on this matchup map and what we might see.
Yep. So we talk about, original matchups, on, America maps with the 8 vanilla civs. This is a DE match. These are 2 DLC civs on Pripyat marshes. So this is the furthest you can functionally get from original Age of Empires 3 here. And it just kind of shows how much this game has changed over, gosh, getting up on, well, it is actually 18 years now. So, Age of Empires 3, old enough to drive and vote and all these things. But yeah, as we were saying, Platt, Ethiopia is unloved by the community at this point. I don't think that is a deserved reputation. When I've played Ethiopia, I find it actually to be a really powerful civ. It's just both Africa civs are so different from the way every other civilization plays that learning them is difficult and mastering them is even more so. So really interesting to see here. And it's Memesico, on the other hand, where we have literally the most balls to the wall YOLO civ that has ever been developed for Age of Empires as a series.
Correct. These are incredibly flexible, incredibly diverse. We could be seeing all sorts of play. It's kind of hard to tell, and we're going to have to kind of, hopefully, us casters can pay attention and keep an eye on these two players and figure out what they're doing. So far, Mexico aging up with a 15-20, no market, going for the trading post. This is usually indicative of a revolt. The fast fortress for Mexico is currently usually consigned to the Central America Revolt. Right? Again, it's a weird civ in that aspect where it doesn't like to FF traditionally. And of course, though, the Revolt has a bunch of pros and cons. And we get defensive hacienda, right? The hacienda can be a shipment point, and this suggests that Bay may be going for like a industrial plane. If you look at his deck, right, it's called F. Maybe it means fast forward. Maybe it means fast something. Maybe it means F in the chat, boys. I'm dying. But this looks very much like either an FF or a psych out for a revolt. Missing is pike
it
shipment.
certainly seems like that.
Yeah, no picky shipment or Navajo though in H2. So definitely, if you look at that, you would think that it's going to be a defensive one. Looking over here at Ethiopia, although it can get Indian units. Looks like he's got a second granary going up, or he started to and then he stopped. Might have been a misclick. No mountain monastery, using the Aben to explore and heal his Ross, and now he's going to age up with Portuguese. I do believe this is kind of the meta. Gideon, who's been one of the biggest champions, and even myself has been using the Portuguese age up. So we'll see how he goes about it. There's a lot of discussion on the most efficient ways to do it. This looks like he's going to chop instead of using mountain monasteries early on. Beime with...
So we have an early early cathedral up from Mexico.
Yeah, you see this a lot. So Mexico gets a lot of XP crates, right? It's kind of like United States in that regard. And I believe the thinking is, look, if you're Mexico, you have great shipments, you have great tempo, but underneath that, your economy is kind of basic. And so, you know, the church can be good because it's almost as good as a trade post. Plus, you get some techs in there that, you know, can further increase the value, like pikes for every building and the for every unit that's died, which if you have a lot of pickies is a lot, grant you XP. So I really like, you know, so far both players are not really committing to anything other than what I assume would be like a semi or H2 play from Ethiopia at either a fast revolt or, you know, maybe even a slow FF and paying for the coin. I wonder if he'll do it. Oh, but never mind. I'm saying defensive, but then look at that Rax. That is an
No,
aggressive
he is
Rax.
going forward.
All right, so
there goes that mountain monastery.
I got to look at Ethiopia's deck. This is interesting. So this is a deck very similar to mine, actually, other than loyal warriors, and feudal armies. I stole my deck from Gideon. Shout out. This looks like a little bit more economy focused and long-term focused. But he is shipping 700 influence first. Typically, players do that to get from the Mountain Monastery the 10 Portuguese crossbows or bestieros, which do shadow tech, and they are extremely undercosted as of this patch, which I am mentioning because I expect them to be changed if you're watching this video in the future.
Yeah.
Both explorers out. Okay, 6 minutes. Aging up
and
with...
he's clicking up.
Wow. The smartass in me just wants to mention to Mexico players do in fact recognize that they have an age 3 button. That's not a revolt. All sarcasm aside, I've always been a huge fan, mainly in teams, of the Mexico federal cards. I believe they're extremely powerful in age 3 and age 4, but you rarely get to see them because the Mexican players will do revolt. Right, because it's faster.
Forward has been scouted by villagers of all things, and there go 6 gas Kenya to go knock on Bangmei's door there.
Yeah, this is kind of scary actually now for Bangmei, because again, those Gaskenya, they do have lower siege than your average Musk, but not by much.
Well, he just got 2 soldados out, so I don't think he's in... Well, I say that, and he comes up with 4 chottles.
These guys are cool, but you know those soldados, they do so much damage in melee, but they are shooting from range, which they are not the most efficient at. And down they go. Okay, so if you're Bangmei, what do you do? Oh,
not a lot of siege. Yep, he's just giving up the forward.
I think it's a good move. It's basically a lost cause, especially now that the bestieros are coming in again. Portuguese unit, but for 700 influence, you get 10 of them and get to produce them.
Those beautiful skins.
I know, such a cool. Again, balance may not always be perfect, but they're back up.
Yep. Hi, buddy.
They choose violence immediately.
Yeah. They woke up and chose violence.
Bummer. You didn't even get the flag down in time. So, but Bangmei is age 3, and let's see here. A lot of res here stacked. Gonna send coin. Probably gonna age up behind this. But he's got a lot of wood stacked.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a panic hit there. He's probably going like, "Oh, I've got to get up to 3 now."
Again, just to show you, I love this card. Ortega, so you get double rewards. So when he aged up with San Luis, I believe he got, what, 1,000 coin each? For 500 coin, 500 coin.
1,000 coins, really nice bonus for going up to 3.
Yeah. And these cards are great. You have the scaling Chinako shipment. It does now cap at 8. It used to be infinite. You have Bustamante. Lets them be these guys be produced by field hospitals plus healing. He's got Goon, he's got Skirm. Yep. Oh, and it looks like he used the other part of the Arataker reforms where the next barracks upgrade is free. So on top of
Nice.
the 500 coin, he got a 400. Yeah. Yeah, not bad. 900 res equivalent.
900 res for a federal shipment. So yeah, that's a pretty good deal.
Looks like Ethiopia now taking the back trade line, starting to get a little bit aggressive, and this is tricky, right? Because now you've got all these Age 2 units. They're strong. Ethiopia's very strong units. You've got a pretty good mass, but Mexico's units are Age 3 now, other than the Salteadors.
Yeah, aside from the couple shuttles that are in Ethiopia's army, everything is countered there by the Salties.
The crossbows will beat Salties per res because they're literally half the cost.
Yeah.
Right? 60-60, 30-30. But
Versus...
sorry.
Yeah.
It's like
you're right.
They look bad until you realize that you can get 2 for 1, but what they do not have is an answer for these Falcons, and I think Ethiopia needs to back up.
Falcons.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, those 2 Falcons are... Oh.
But the Giskenia do extra damage when they get close.
Going for melee.
1 Falcon down. Ooh, this other Falcon lives.
Nope.
Oop, he's got to go.
The other Falcon lives.
I mean, it's a lot of crossbow.
No answer.
Yeah, now he's training Jav Riders because I assume he is waiting for this to come and make his life miserable.
Man, 8 Chinako pop on all of those crossbow.
Ooh, and the siege now from the Soldado. That is just going to absolutely reduce this war camp in seconds. Ooh, oh.
Yep.
Sneaky.
Oh, they're going to get that. It's going to go down.
Oh, man. Good job
there. It is.
I'm going to try to pronounce your name. Please forgive
and
me.
the Jav Riders prop.
All right. Gopal Hardwaj, 92. Great little sneak attack there. And now I think Ethiopia's army was pretty bad. I think Beme needs to back off.
Beme really should have just knocked down the war camp with one last volley from the Soldados and gotten out of there.
I agree. But, Salteadors, they're doing okay, and again, these crossbows are cheap, but they need a huge mass, and with these Javelin Riders not contributing to this fight, ooh, but those Shuttle Warriors are going to get right on top.
Those shuttles are going to pop, and they're going to clean it up.
Or, oh no.
Assuming that Ethiopia notices
it. Yeah, he gets there eventually. Gives him a minute. And now Ethiopia is sending Giskenia HP, but it doesn't have any Giskenia. She's probably just under a lot of pressure. Ooh, here come the Chinakos. All right, crossbows go down, and I think Beme now is stabilized, and I think, yep.
And it's just a 1. Okay.
All right. And just like that, the game is over. And boy, that was kind of a quick one. So because we're doing like a back-to-back, right, of Mexico versus Ethiopia, I'm going to go look through the post-game stats grid. And Stefan, I would just appreciate if you would just let us know your thoughts on this pretty quick, pretty short and sweet, but very interesting match.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mexico has an Age 3. And it's actually pretty good. Like, as Platt mentioned, Central America is kind of the standard for people going for the FI. And Baja is just the Baja meme revolt, basically. So those tend to be the 2 primary options, but that we see on the ladder. But Mexico is actually a good civ if you just play it normally too, which adds to the complexity of predicting what the heck Mexico is going to do. But you know, people out there playing Mexico shouldn't forget that hey, go H3 and get those Falcons. You've got great population efficient musketeers. Use it.
That's exactly it. Often Mexico, when you hear people say Mexico can't FF, and perhaps into Ottoman, this would not be the right call, right? Because
No, no.
Mexico's FF obviously would not be as fast as an Ottoman one. Your unit shipments, while strong, are not necessarily your strong suit. However, not every civ is Ottoman, thankfully, and you have to be willing to be, I think, flexible and move stuff around. When you're Mexico, you have such a mind game potential that it's like in sports. Sometimes you got to do a play just to keep your opponent honest, right?
Yeah.
Maybe your player doesn't have the best kick, right? But like you're gonna have him drill the ball downfield just to keep your opponents honest. And I think that's kind of what Baymay demonstrated here. Is maybe it's not always optimal, but you have to respect the age 3 from Mexico. It doesn't have to go Central America. It doesn't have to sit in the corner, be passive, and then FI. That it'll just two Falc, Soldado, Musk Falc good, Skirm good, Goons good. And lots of options. And so with that, I want to thank both Baymay and again, I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your and butchering your name, but Gopal Hardwaj uh, for letting us cast this game. Both players played pretty good. Again, Ethiopia's a tricky civ. I think he kind of lost some tempo there when he stood in age 2 and he pushed too late, right? Again, fighting Mexico is tough. I know the mind games, and I think they got to him. So it wasn't that he's a terrible player, but ultimately the mind games were caused him to freeze, and Bebe he took advantage of it. He got his win condition in, and the mighty Mexico army takes advantage of the marshes of Ukraine. So with that, we're gonna pause really fast, and we're gonna bring up another one, which I cannot pause in OBS. So we're just gonna go get to see my home city, which is Ethiopia, ironically enough. All the recording
Yeah,
games
as they
have.
say in poker, sometimes you have to sometimes you have to hold the card, be holding the cards. Like you have to actually be able to go FF here.
Exactly. And so, as promised, we're just going to pause for just a second to get you all oriented. We have another game. This is actually very high elo. So, Hi, who I've actually stolen the deck from, I actually mentioned him, and Gideon, who knows Ethiopia. He also knows Mexico. He sent this one and saying this is a pretty crazy game. So, we've now seen the same matchup, like you said earlier, DE stuff, right? DE map, DE civs, pure DE matchup. We've got another one, and I am hoping that this one is just as interesting as the other one. Again, too, something I didn't mention earlier is a lot of people are saying Mexico is like, B tier or not viable, and I think that people say the FF's not viable. Well, we just saw it work. Of course, is that going to work in every situation? No. Gideon has always been a proponent of Baja, so I'm guessing we're going to see Baja, but we're probably going to see a side of Baja that we don't normally do. And this is around the 16 to 1700 elo, so this is definitely at a level where, I think Baymay played a perfect game earlier, but people often try to hand wave mid elo, right? I'm just going to start because I don't want to hype this up and then both players just have an off day. What are your thoughts? Okay, we already got your thoughts on this map or this matchup. Do you have anything that you would like to add, perhaps like knowing Gideon's background for the viewers to know?
Yeah. So for people that are unaware, Gideon AI is kind of the Sunbros in-house expert on numbers. He actually has his own videos. He does his own YouTube channel. He has a couple of really good videos out there that you can go take a look at where he breaks down some really niche things. But so if anyone understands the sheer just mechanics, like the nuts and bolts and just numbers of this game, it's Gideon. He's worked out res calculations, fill time, everything. So that's where Gideon's strengths really are as a player and as a content creator, is he knows the really nitty gritty of this game and can talk to it very impressively. So he knows the exact levers to pull to get things to function. So I'm not familiar with Hi as a player, unfortunately, but Gideon is whatever he's going for here, assuming it's Baja, is going to be very focused and very precise.
And true to his name as AI, he's now murdered all of the hunts.
Oh gosh.
Why? Gideon, if you watch this, please let us know. I'm sure there's a mathematical reason, but you have to understand, like, why I'm laughing is because this is like a move the actual game AI likes to do. Is just murder all the hunts.
Yep.
Good luck, have fun though.
Oh,
Coming in.
there's the GLHF. Yeah, if you ever load a recorded game that you do in a skirmish against the AI, you'll see that they've just got all these dead hunts just lying around.
And also too, he went for a trade post right off the bat. And what's interesting to me is that this doesn't trickle XP or anything. So I'm curious. The only thing I could think of is he might be doing a native deck. Okay, so we're gonna take a minute to look at
Baja.
deck. Mexico stuff. Is my instinct. These are the decks that makes people pull their hairs out when they fight Mexico because what does this even mean? Like
What is this?
cows, outlaws, but it's called Baja. So I'm assuming that this is based on both Baja and then post-revolt Baja should he get past it. So he's gonna probably pop the native treaties, maybe the Renegade Navajo, and revolt is what I assume. And look, did he send? He's got the one infinite. Just
So
fascinating.
he's
And he's
doing
sending it.
two haciendas. Interesting.
Is he aging up
Interesting
with?
that he's going for the second.
Because of I'm gonna mispronounce it. Tlaxcala has a tech for I believe it's this one where you get a 2 villagers for every one hacienda that you have. So he could use that as Baja to eco back in because now he has villagers. All right. And from Hi here, we are seeing Habesha being the age up. He aged up with 16 out of 20 vills, fairly standard. He's building war huts. He's got 5 gathers on coin. You know, again, something that Gideon pointed out to me, and I've seen Hi do too, is actually because of the inherent mining rate, sometimes you could actually mine coin and sell it for wood faster than you could chop it.
Hmm.
Land Neftenia. Okay, so he has the Temenyas card in. I have seen this sometimes. It allows you to use the Neftenia in H2. You know, like all early Skirm or Goon or Cav cards. It's a bit iffy. Ethiopian players used to not have a choice, really, if they wanted a trainable light infantry. Now they do
Yeah.
with the crossbow, the criminally undercosted crossbow, I might add. So
Yeah, and I find that one a bit interesting because that's basically the early skirm card, but honestly worse because it's not a team card.
I mean, you do get the 5% on all gunpowder, which affects,
Yeah.
you know, the Neftenia, and if you later on get, I believe, gunpowder troopers would affect the Abus, what do you call it? Hand cannoneers. Um, plus the charge attack maybe on the Riders, or that's a different deck. I don't know. Ethiopia is so weird. We're not going to focus on my lack of game knowledge right now. Let's just focus on these players. Oh wow, revolting and native treaties.
Oh, wow. And notice how cleanly that was timed.
Yeah, Gideon, just perfect timing there.
Yep. And he is going to claim everything he needs to do the Baja Monopoly.
Mm-hmm. Or if not the Baja Monopoly, you know they do have this trading post cost. Oh, native settlements trickle. So even on a Euro map, he will get trickles if he sends that card. I bet.
He's going to get some trickles.
Okay, ships a factory, coach guns. Oh yeah,
Oh, so he's going to be using them as outposts essentially.
Not,
Okay.
yep, outpost, plus you get like 6 outlaws, right? So it's, military shipment for H2.
Yeah.
All right, Javelin Riders coming up, and yeah, Ethiopia's got to
Yep.
be careful.
Claiming the. Oh, oh, oh. Yep.
Using 1 to scout. Oh, never mind. Decides to back up. Ooh, Quattros, these are great units.
Yeah. Yep. So the Jav Riders here are the wrong unit to have on the field. But those Neftenia. So he did send the Neftenia's guard, and they are out.
Oh, wow. And just like that, Gideon's kind of got to back up because, again, Goon Skirm against Musk. Goon.
Mhm.
Definitely advantaged, I think, for Ethiopia. And again, these early Neftenias coming in. And you can't lose that mass. That is the risky thing about Baja, right? Is if you lose your mass, it's very difficult to remass.
It's very difficult. And what is Gideon sending right now? Is it the trickle card? It is that trickle card. Okay.
Which will give him incredible value.
Yes.
If he can get Stagecoach going. Which he's already bought. Yep, so he's just trying to buy time. And again, Ethiopia, one weakness I have learned about the Civ is their siege in Age 2 is not particularly high. Again, even their Musk have decent siege, but less than normal. Siege of the Javelin Rider is high for a pop, but low in small numbers. And Neftenia has a little bit higher hand attack, and I think just mediocre to low siege. In skirms, it's not high.
Not planted the flag. Gideon intends to fight this.
Oh, the shotgun blast. Does he use that?
Yeah, the shotgun blast is an automatic attack. It's really low ROF, but high, damage.
Yeah, these are tanky skirms, so look at that.
Yeah, these tanky skirms.
30
Gideon
HP.
does not have a response right now to these Neftenias.
Oh, but he's going to ship 7 Wild West Outlaws. 119 coin? It's almost like a fort, when you think about it, like a little mini fort or an outpost.
Yeah, it's basically a mini fort. So it's also available, as shotgun messengers to the US, and unfortunately for the US, it's an H4 card, which, who wants ATP in H4?
Right.
But with Mexico getting this in, H2, that's an entirely different story.
Wow, it's kind of intense. So looking at the score,
Yeah.
still up for Ethiopia. They're poking. He's getting good value. I mean, he's doing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
What is he sending now? Annexation?
Oh, there it is. Yep. And he's buying just enough time for him to be able to get that trade post healed, I think. Because like you were saying, Ethiopia doesn't have the siege here.
But I don't know if he can repair it when the trade monopoly is called.
Oh, that's a good question. I have never tested that edge case. Oh, it can. There you go. It's healed. It went up. Yeah, it's healing.
Balloon, and then he's got the Golden Reuter ability. Is he going to use that in the Quattros? Nope. That's the one that adds armor to cavalry.
Yeah.
And shock infantry, if that's what you have. Okay, more Quattros coming in. He's got his factory. Everything's set on coin at this point. So he's just making Quattros. Ooh, careful. You're going to lose one, maybe.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, no. There it goes.
All right, so Ethiopia now.
And what is Ethiopia's response?
He keeps just spamming Neftenia, I guess. When in doubt, Neftania
Yeah,
out.
the problem is Gideon is healing that trade post, and the number one thing you need to do with annexation is you need to get that down.
Mm.
Because Gideon has what, 5?
Hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 8, which means that he's got a. Ethiopia's got 3 minutes to blow up this one and
2.
2. Yeah, at least 2.
Yeah,
This is kind of ruthless.
which looking at it, obviously we don't have fog of war. But from the caster's perspective here, you'd want to target that nat post immediately above. On if this is a yin yang symbol on the tail over to the west there, go after that, and after that, one dead center on your side. Those would be the two you want to target, because they don't have anything that can cost effectively deal with those Neftenia.
No, not in mass. Like, you just probably slammed the Neftenia mass in. And I'm saying that, and maybe I'm going to be deadly wrong here in a second, but I think if you're high, you got it. It's always so nerve wracking though, because you've got 2 minutes. I mean, you've got to literally clock, and you're like, well, I have a bunch of skirms, like traditional wisdom says. In
Yep.
fact, is he going to go in? Oh my god.
Oh, if he had gone in, he would have caught that.
Definitely.
Oh, and it goes up, and I'm assuming Gideon's going to get something pumping out of it.
Right? Or it's just more body block, knowing him. Now he's putting he's building a cathedral,
Yeah.
because it. Oh, big raid here. Takes him off the coin mine. He looks away. Now there's a freaking church that heals buildings.
That is brilliant. Okay. Putting a building that heals other buildings when you're running a trade monopoly. Okay, that's smart.
Gideon. Did he blow up his church to get it? Or did
he must. I don't know that he built it.
No, I don't know if he sent it. So he sent the one hacienda instead. Oh, epic music time. All right, boys. Well, poor Hi is probably just thinking, like, is this even Age of Empires that I'm playing? Like, what the frick is going on? There's a church and an embassy on a forward shooting trade post that's blowing my world up. What is happening? But yeah, now he's got to try to slam it in.
Monopoly. I'm an age 2. It's only 13 minutes. This guy's spitting conquistadors out of a.
Yeah, I think he's completely.
He's resigned.
Yeah, he's resigned to his fate. He's like, I've lost the game. What just
At this point, he just wants to hear the end of the epic music, because, let's be real, the true Monopoly finishing music is great.
Oh, he puts Golden Reuter, so look at the armor of these things. 44, 36, 20.
Oh, and the beautiful music.
Gideon.
Oh, man.
Oh, Gideon. Oh, you crazy, crazy man, you. But it worked.
It worked?
It worked. Like,
It worked?
Look at it. So, it's kind of hard to break down. But what he did, okay, so I definitely think Ethiopia could have pushed a little bit early, but this is the danger with Mexico, all right? So you're fighting against Baja. It's supposed to be an all-in. If it's an all-in, you as the defending player should be able to kind of idle and boom, right? Because these units are strong. Like, this is stronger than a normal Musk, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might have the combat card in. Don't think so. It's like Walker's Gang or Outlaw Combat. No, he doesn't. Okay.
I think it's one of the later ones, yeah.
So here is the basic filibuster, right? It's a strong unit. It's got good siege. You've got these Quacheros, right? Like, you have all of these. He's attacking it with that shotgun blast. These kind of like strong units. So you want to be defensive, but he gave up map control, and this is so important when you fight a Baja. you need to get siege units out ASAP, and you need to prevent this from happening. Now, it's not every map that you
Yeah.
can do this. Most maps don't have 8 trade posts. But on a map with this many, you have to respect the Baja because I think Hi had the stronger unit comp and his eco was going up, but he didn't respect the Baja. And not just that, but the layers of crap that Gideon put in the way is just, it's so smart.
The
The healing church, the shotgun blast, right? So
healing church. Yeah.
I mean, 126 damage is no joke.
No.
It's only 8 range though, but that most units siege at 6, right? So it can defend itself. Stefan, what are some of your thoughts?
Oh my gosh. Just you were right. This is not normal Baja. I've never seen the church's healing ability actually used. It's like, oh yeah, that's fun that it exists. Cool. But dang, man.
I mean, if you look at the pop too, like Gideon's, those Quacheros was just going up. He had 200 pop towards the end.
Oh, jeez.
Resources gathered. Yeah, he's below high, but he's got this huge military mass, and he's
Doesn't
using.
matter.
Look at his freaking stats on these things. They buffed him last patch too. Why? Why devs?
Yeah.
But
But like just an illustration of why score doesn't matter. Look, Gideon is down by 7k score and won. And is almost has a 189 pop.
this is just nuts, man. And this is like,
It's just nuts.
look, he's got the few pikes, I think, from church. I mean, he sent everything to hold this. You know, and I have to say, well, I often give Mexico a hard time as a civ, and it can be really, you know, the point of a video like this is twofold. One, to show off how creative the civ can be, and how strong it can be. I mean, this was a high, most people would consider a high elo game, right? Not professional, but high elo. And Gideon just completely ran circles around his opponent, coming in with a strategy that's clear out of left field. It's not meta, quote unquote, but it's efficient, it's strategic. We saw the same thing with Beimei earlier. You know, again, Mexico is a civ that it's not just spam pikes, go Central America, go Age 4, spam Spanish Lancers, GG, or lose type of civ. There's these whole other aspects that I feel like people have not explored, and this to show you, against Ethiopia played differently both times as well, and also a very flexible civ that the Mexico players were able to really think and strategize and come up with a build that utilized the kind of unknown or unscoutable nature of Mexico to psych their opponents into making inefficient moves. Like in the case of Ethiopia, he made Neftenia and coin, but he didn't really grab map control. So before he knows it, not only is it over, but he's thinking all I have to do is siege it. But there's all these things like the shotgun blast.
All this is going on. You know, you have this nasty pathing now at the embassy right in front. You've got a church healing this stupid building. You've got chunky Quatreros standing there. It's like, yeah, your Neftenias will win, but you have to eat through them.
Yeah, and not just that, but he's using the natives to his advantage. Again, BAP and knowledge and understanding of stuff. Overtaking a pretty meta. And again, I stole my Ethiopia deck from Hi. He's a great player, and I'm sure after this game he probably had a good chuckle. It was just like, what the fuck? And they probably re-queued him. It's just like, okay, you know, took a deep breath, like what just happened? So, just wow, crazy stuff here tonight. Definitely was worth the watch. So, I think with that, I'm just gonna close this out. Again, thank you all players for letting us cast your games. If you've watched as far as, please give us a like or subscribe, a comment what your thoughts on the 2 matchups we saw tonight, and also let us know if the video format's okay, because there's so many cool games that get posted that are often like kind of short form. In the past, we've done like a really long form of like several games together, and that didn't, you know, quite pan out super well. So please let us know if like 2 15-ish minute games is acceptable and you guys like this kind of format with like a theme or a civ matchup. So to close this all out, else I can say is, if I haven't said it already, So Shark Dad is working on the Civ overviews. You should see those sprinkled throughout these casts as well. So I don't have a specific timeline because he has to splice some stuff together, but you guys should be seeing that. Our goal is to cover all 22 Civs. So I look forward to that as well. And with that, I thank you all for making it this far. Appreciate you guys. Stefan, I appreciate you too. And I will see you all on the next one.